Hey guys, and welcome out to another episode of the Pod of War Gamescast. I'm your host, Ewa Gizmo, joined this week by Massive Das, Chris Mangeli,
Hello, everyone.
and of course Xbox Live's CW Lanke.
Hello, Davey.
How is it going, boys and girls?
My right arm's dead. It's no longer any use to me. I've been boosted, boys. I'm a better I'm a better version of my old self now. Well, I can't feel my right arm, but
You've now got 6G. You've gone the step beyond.
I can't wait for 6 months' time when we do it all again.
Oh yeah, this is
we
never
go
going away,
boys.
We're gonna be. This is gonna be like New Game Plus. We're on New Game Plus for COVID right now. Love that. You okay down there, Pengy?
Yeah, all good.
Good. Gotta love a Pengy. So we're almost to normal episodes. So this is the Game of the Year episode, as you can see from the title, and then we'll probably have our famous and infamous backlog episode next week, where Craig can just rip me and Chris to pieces after about 40 minutes before we decide that we're only going to pick short indie / Western games this year. But that's next week. So let's Game of the Year. Before we get into Game of the Year, guys, pick up some play. I'm going to start with me because why not? So I've obviously have my rules. So I'm not allowed to buy games. So it's like the 27th of November, something like that. Gift cards and presents I still have, and obviously because of my new situation, my Christmas is still trickling. I still haven't actually had my Christmas yet. Tuesday, I'm thinking I'm having the last of my Christmas. I got this as a present. Guardians of the Galaxy for PS5. I think you both have played
Nice.
it.
Yeah, great game.
And you both like it, so that's one. And I used an Xbox gift card and bought Disco Elysium Director's Cut for the Xbox Series S. So that's my two pickups. For what I've been playing, I've actually played a video game this week. So I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland One Shot because my friend bought it for me in the sale.
That's a name, isn't it?
It is. It's a DLC from 2, but they re-released it knowing that they're putting out that like fantasy game.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of like it because it's quite self-contained. Like if you know me, like the problem with Borderlands has always been it's just fucking too much, right? So I've been enjoying this little Borderlands 2 thing, and there's no like berserker guys. It's all just like orcs and skeletons, and it's so like already like I've just done a mission which is just a piss take of Dark Souls. There's lots of stuff like that. It's really funny, and the gunplay's Borderlands 2, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's what.
Is it the same like characters you can choose between from 2, or is it new ones?
It's the
Gunzerker guy and
the Gunzerker.
Right?
It's the DLC as well, so you can use the Krieg and you can use the Technomancer. I think the Technomancer is probably the way to go because that's like Tina's character, so that's probably the fun. But it's like everything's like fantasy game themed, like all the NPCs, all the menus, all the levels. It's pretty funny. As Borderlands games are, if you like that humor. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's co-op. Me and Pete are going to try and play some more of that. I think it's like 10 hours to like 100%. It's got its own full 1000G list as well.
I saw that.
So I've been pumping out a few of those. But yeah, so if you like Borderlands and you're somewhat excited for Wonderlands, it's not a bad show. I think it RRP's at £8. It was in the sale. I think Pete said it was like 4, so that's why we got it.
Nice.
New Year's Eve drunken purchase for us both, I think. So love that. So let's move on to Craig. Have you purchased or played anything this past week, Craig?
I haven't purchased anything, as they say. I have finally finished Halo though. It's just taken me quite a long time because I started the main campaign and then got completely lost just doing all the side stuff, all the open worldy bits, and then kind of went back and decided I should probably actually finish the game, and then finished the game, and then went back and kind of mopped up anything that I'd missed. So I ended up really enjoying that. The kind of like the open worldy stuff, like so I did all the mini bosses, the 15 like banished like contracts, and then the outpost, all of that good stuff, and then the main missions. So I finished with Halo now. That is done. So just be multiplayer, and then whenever we get the big co-op push, is it May?
Yeah, something like that.
That's probably when I'm going to play it at the moment. We'll talk about it in the backlog because I've started it and I was enjoying it, but I was like, I really would rather play this in co-op.
Yeah, it's quite. I know it's disappointing that it wasn't there at launch, but by then I will be kind of itching for some more Halo. So yeah, it's kind of quite nice that it breaks up a bit and you're not just jumping straight back into it again. And then the only thing I started was the Gunk, which I've also finished now. and I cannot. I think on the OpenCritic it's got like a 71. I'm going to start saying this. I do not understand why it's so low. I know Chris played this as well.
You know why it's so low.
Yeah, but I feel like it's so harsh because it's such a better game than that.
Really? See, I played and finished it as well. Not it's the quintessential high 8, 6, low 7 sort of game. You know.
To put it in perspective, I remember the guy from Fantasy Critic when he did the podcast with these yellow guys like last year, saying that like the average score I think he said on Open Critic was like 76. So this is a below average game.
Yeah, I was going to say if you go that way, yeah. If you think of it like that, yeah, it is an average game then. But then 71 shouldn't really be average, should it? Or 75 out of 10 should be average. It's the one in the middle, but you know that's not how it works.
But the world we live in.
Like that. It's never. It is
never
work like that.
No. In anything ever.
No, any generation.
So yeah, like say this is a below average game. Personally, I think that's very harsh. It's got quite a nice little like simple story. It's decent length. It's 6 hours. It's very pretty. The actual like doing the clearing of the gunk and the puzzles is really satisfying. Controls really well. Technically, it's fine. I had no issues technically with it. The score is really good. I was literally like trying to be like, right, why are they giving it such a bad? Well, not a bad score. Like 7's not a bad score, but like, why are they being so harsh in this game? I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, the combat is very simple and basic, but there's not much for that. I don't know. But I feel like there's other simple games that have scored high, and
I don't no fanfare. I think it's when it came out as well. I think that's impacted it. It's too close.
Yeah, I was maybe. Say some people would have been on on holiday and that.
Image Reform were a great studio as well, so it's disappointing that it's not been given by. I haven't played it yet, so it's not been given perhaps a little bit more due than it's owed. Because like I said, like the SteamWorld games are all incredible. Like there have always been some of my favorite games, and there's a studio they're very good. So it's cool that they've made a 3D game, and it's on.
The next SteamWorld, next SteamWorld game is going to be 3D as well. So
exciting! I love those games. Craig, if you haven't played the SteamWorld games, play them because you'd like them.
Yeah, but you saying that, I know it's a little bit off. It's the SteamWorld devs, but Thunderful was the publisher who own Image Inform. It's a bit weird.
Yeah,
like
they're
I
combined,
played,
aren't they?
They combined. They combined
a
few together and made like one publishing label, and then they got the studios on. Like I played Wavetail the other day. No one's played that or reviewed it because it's only on Stadia. Yeah, like Thunderful have done like that. They like obviously partnered with Xbox, have partnered with Stadia with Wavetail and that, but. That's a sort of a similar game, but like no one's reviewed it because of the one platinum for. I think it's got like 2 reviews or something on Metacritic, and that's the PC version or something. And it's like, yeah,
it's tough. It's tough
weird,
for these developers because you want to stand out, so you have to try and be different. But like, I mean, I'm the Gunk is one of those games I want to play. I think it's installed actually, so I will get to it soon. But
it's a decent length, to be fair. Like it's a solid 6 hours, so it's not like a massive commitment.
Kind of the games I'm into at the minute. I don't think in my current life I've got a 20+ hour game in me at the minute. So, exciting times. Anything else, Craig? Is that all you've been playing?
No, that is it from me. Obviously, a little bit more Forza, doing the old weekly season challenges, and I don't know what I'm going to start next. There's been so many like indie games added to Game Pass in the last like week or so that I'm kind of I've downloaded them all, and I'm like, God, where do I start?
It's just been added, Craig. Is it time? Is it finally time for you and Pete to play fucking Mass Effect?
Yeah.
What? So is it the Legendary Edition that's been added?
Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
It's the remaster of all the DLC, all 3 games.
Isn't one like? I suppose I could. I mean, I could just be a heretic and start 2. But isn't it like pretty old fashioned?
Yeah, one is pretty. One is more RPG than
one is a funny. Mass Effect 1 is a funny game because I personally think the story's really good, but it's a 2007 game. So like it's like go here, do this, go here, do this, go here, do this. But the going here and doing this is pretty fun. I don't know. I love that game so much that I'm completely biased, but I think it's worth trying. I think if you played because the structure's pretty good for the type of game, the type of way you play games. So because you like to do side quests and stuff, it's very like go to this galaxy, world 1, world 2, world. You're like, here's the worlds. You press them, it does stuff, and you progress constantly. You constantly progress. You constantly get better weapons. I think the only issue is at the start of the game, because it's really RPG. The gunplay isn't that fun because you have to you don't reload in the first game. Your gun overheats. So obviously, because all the guns are shit at the beginning, you'll fire like 8 bullets and your gun overheats. You're like, what am I doing? But I don't know. It's tough because two and 3 are like modern games. They play like Gears, like they play like that. So it's
I
tough.
remember like back in the day seeing reviews and them saying that 2 they fixed a lot of the combat issues that 1 had.
You could jump straight into 2 because it has the storybook beginning where it had because it originally wasn't on PS3, so they had to make that for the PS3 version. So you have that in this, so you can go in. It will just go. You got to this situation. This is exactly what happened. What decision
You
did you
think
make?
Legendary Edition actually got that though?
Yeah, pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure they did because even when I started up 2, I did it by accident. I was like, fuck it, why not? Like I know the decisions I just made, so it's not an issue. But you should. It's 2 and 3 are games you would love. 1 you might like. It's tough. Like it could go either way. If you're feeling particularly patient, then 1 you might go, this story is really, really good. I can get over the fact that it's kind of like an old RPG. But 2 you will like. I have no doubt 2 you'll play it and be like, yeah, it's sick.
Interesting. We shall see them. We'll see.
Yeah, but the other added like Pedestrian was just added, for instance, as well. They added a few over like December.
Soon, right?
Fun? Extraction soon, yeah.
Extraction.
And Nobody Saved the World, which I realised you'll get minus points for, Davey, most probably in the Fancy Critic.
We'll see.
See if it does well.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I can't see it doing a 9, so I'll take that. Like I said, this is my strategy like last year. If it gets 7s, that's fine. But yeah, right, okay. Yeah. Very well done, Craig. Let's move on to the biggest of dogs, the Pengulator. Pengy, what have you been playing in the video game sphere this week?
I've not bought any games, because I said I wasn't buying any in December or January, so I haven't bought no games.
Good lad.
I did buy a PSP though.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? It was kind of cheap, so.
Is it the Vita or the PSP you own like 4 of them? I
now own 3 Vitas and 3 PSPs.
Yeah. There we go. Just round it up, I guess. You know, free of everything.
Yeah, you know.
I love it. I don't have the room for this anymore, Pengy. So.
No, you know, PSP's not very big. It's not like it's 3 PS5s or something.
Right.
You'd have to have a mansion or something. But for that, so I picked that up, and I bought 2 books as well, which one I've left sealed, and the other one I haven't started reading yet either. One was a Final Fantasy VII remake, like art book and stuff.
The Ultimecia stuff.
Yeah, which has got some stuff in it, which is now canon, but I don't know what. Like I said, I've not opened it, and it's Rei Nomura. Let's put some canonical stuff in a book. It could be something simple as Cloud doesn't like mushrooms, which is now canon, but it's in that book. And then the other one was Metal Gear Solid Hideo Kojima's magnum opus by 3rd editions, which I have opened and will read at some point. So
I cannot imagine how dull of a read that is going to be. How many pages is it?
It's like 250, something like that. It's not as many as you think.
We asked Kojima-san what he wanted to do. Once he finished sucking his own dick, he told us. Love it.
Yeah.
So have you played
I'll put a video review of that on the channel, Pengles.
Right, and if I played any... I've played 2 games, really. That's more Halo Infinite multiplayer, which I'm now level 73 on the Battle Pass.
That is incredible. Fair play to that.
So I'm now getting to that level 100.
That Chuvo, that's gonna be when you finally get that, Pengles. That's gonna be a moment right there.
That's a live stream right there.
Yeah, grinding for that, and I haven't spent any money or anything like that. It's just pure grind to that level and stuff like that. Mainly because they did a winter event, so I was doing all that winter events, so getting all the XP, and they've just brought back the samurai event as well, but they've messed up my challenges. You're supposed to get 2 challenges for the samurai. I haven't got a single one, so I got to go. I got to go play some capture the flag so I can knock off that challenge, so I can get a event challenge. It's a joke. To get to that, I want to get to that level 100, and then have flames coming out of my armor and stuff. So that's what you need. And then I finally started it, boys. Shin Megami Tensei 5. I finally started it.
Define started it. How much time have we put into this?
I am 8 hours into it.
Ooh.
Wow, okay. That's 7 more than I expected.
So I'm almost out of the tutorial.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not far.
Yeah, it took me 6, because obviously you start in the school, and then you go to, like, the other world. It took 6 hours to get back to the school, so, like, basically just to get starting. And then
I
you
can
get, like,
say right now, I'm having no commitments to play Shin Megami Tensei at any point this year. Any of those games, any of the side games, anything. I'm not committing to anything.
No.
Anything related to Japanese RPGs. No. Absolutely not. Never
Yeah,
again.
so the 8 hours I've played at the moment is pretty good. I can see the similarities with Persona. Obviously, it's got the demons, which are also in Persona Shadows and stuff, so they're similar in that. And some of the like quirks of like when you're walking around school and that, there's similar-ish. It doesn't seem to have like the social aspects, or not at the moment, of a Persona game, and the combat's slightly different. It's kind of similar. You can see like it's not as quick as Personas, and you got to like, I need to get this critical hit, and then I can get an extra attack and all that, good stuff. So you got to be like sort of like tactical, and then you can build up. So you can go like, or there's four. You have your main character, and then you basically have 3 demons fighting with you. So a bit like Pokemon, you got to like capture them, but you capture them by negotiating with them and stuff. So they might ask you a question, they might want money or whatever, and then they come and join you. So you have like your party. You can switch them out as well. So this one's got lightning attacks. Oh, and I'm using a fire dude, but the other character's weak to lightning, so I've got to switch my demon around and stuff like that. And you can, like I said, be tactical. But yeah, so far it's pretty good. It looks decent as well for a Switch game, especially like the cutscenes and that. The only thing is, maybe the desert's got like this weird effect to it, which does look a bit off-putting. But I think that's down to the Switch hardware. But like the character models and that is, decent enough. So that I am plodding along with that. So it's Shin Megami Tensei 5 for single player and Halo for multiplayer. That is what I'm playing at the moment. Those two.
Excellent stuff. And obviously, segue, those games both came out last year. So let's get talking about our game of the year, boys. So before we talk about, so we have a game of the year list. I've compiled a list, 5 of each of us. They've been combined. That's the crescendo of this. So we were gonna have like loads of categories, and we just haven't had the time. So we're gonna start with one. There's gonna be one extra category, and that is the games that you played this year that didn't come out. Well, games you played in 2021 that didn't come out in 2020, and your favorite. Let's go with one for now. And if we want to talk more earlier, we're gonna start in the obvious place with me, and my game of the year that didn't come out in 2021 being, of course, Dirt 5, a game that I completed 3 times and a half in that year. I played over 120 hours of, and it's a fantastic game. And I love it.
That 120 hours, you could have finished Persona.
But would I have been happy? No. I got to play Dirt 5 4 times.
He would have been a miserable man.
I would have been so miserable.
No. Yeah.
But instead, I got to drive around the same track like 20 times. And I love it. But yeah, Dirt 5 for me, that's my favourite game that I played last year. I as you'll get when we talk about my section of the list, I did not play a lot of games that came out in 2021. I played mostly games from a backlog that I'd either bought a year later, and I think it's going to be the same this year. It's going to be, isn't it? Because I'm not buying any games apart from Game Pass. So it's like, yeah, it's going to be regularly. Oh, guys, did you play Horizon? I'm going to be like, no, I was playing Ghost of Tsushima. But
yeah, but if you put just not buying any games, you're going to play more Game Pass games.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
So you could see a gunk or something on your list next year.
Perhaps we'll see. I've got to make it to next year. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so Dirt 5 is my my non-game of the year game. Yeah, let's go with Pengy.
Yeah, sure.
Your non-game of the year.
Well then that is easy. It is Nier Replicant, which, like I've talked about on this podcast, quite a few times. It's fantastic. And, Craig obviously still wants me to play Automata as well because I love Replicant, and that is better. Maybe we talk about that next week. New
Great segue there, Pengy.
Yeah. But that is because obviously it's a remaster of a 10-year-old PS3 game. So it's from the visual department, it's not fantastic, but made improvements to the combat. They added a little bit new story, and I mean a little bit. When you get to that fifth ending, it's not that long, and obviously they redid the soundtrack as well, which is fantastic. Soundtrack of the year from Pengals for Nier Replicant.
I love that, Pengy.
Automata was on your backlog turns last year. I just checked, so you could have it 2 years in a row. You could fail it 2 years in a row.
Oh yeah.
I promise to have nothing from last year. All right, Pengy, very well done. So let's go to El Craigo.
So thanks to the wonderful world of Game Pass, I think I played quite a few games that I'd missed from previous years this year. But we'll keep going on the Nier love. I probably say the best of them was Automata, which is a bit of a surprise, like one for me, being not Mr. Japan. I'm not
you
are
though, aren't you now?
I'm a converted man.
You've played more
Japanese
games
changed me
than I have easily this year. Easily, by the way.
But yeah, I mean, I spoke about it a lot before. Nier Automata is amazing. It's great. The story's amazing. And like Chris said, the soundtrack and that is great. I do want to play Replicant at some point. I'm just kind of hesitant because I kind of feel like having played Automata first, I'm going to be like, oh, this is just not as good. But I don't know, maybe it will end up on Game Pass at some point, so I'm sure I'll play it then, if not before.
Yeah, I think the passage of time will help you with that. I think by the time you actually get to it, you'll be like, I really want to play this game. And you'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I watched Ray play a little bit of it, and just like the soundtrack was just incredible. Just great stuff.
Good old Yoko Taro. Nice.
So yeah, 2 Nier games out the 3 of us. Who would have thought it?
Me that isn't the weeb. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, guys. Okay.
Me. You're a new man, Dave.
Me that. Hell yeah! Get my vape out again. The boys. Right. So let's get on to the meat and the potatoes here. So we picked 11 individual games. So let's go with the one. Number 11 was Far Cry 6 with 1 point. That was my one non-Game Pass game that was on my list. So there we go. That is really a sign of things to come. If I'm honest. So I'm not going to do any predictions because I think it's really obvious what the top 2 are probably going to be. But let's start with number 10 with 2 points. You're gonna see where this has come from. Outriders. 2 points for Outriders. As one of the 6 games that I played this year that came out this year. I had no choice.
I'm not even sure how much of that we played.
We played about 15 hours, Craig.
Really?
Yeah. That's quite a bit, actually.
I've still got that installed. I still at some point want to play more of that. Even on my own, just because it annoys me that I've not finished it.
We enjoyed it, but it just kept crashing. Yeah. By virtue of the fact it came out this year, it has reached number 4. I haven't played enough Psychonauts for that to have got on my list. So that's all we're going to say about Outriders, I think. So the next is a big pool of 4 games with 3 points. So I'll start with the ones that have only got the one person voting, and there's one game that's had 2 people voting, so that's the one that's gone above, right? So number 9, we just mentioned it, Psychonauts 2. I don't know, actually, you both might have picked that. I think Craig picked that.
No, I didn't. It was a Craig.
Craig, Psychonauts 2, number 9. Your thoughts?
I think I had it number 3, I think.
Yes, it's 3 points.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's 3 points.
So yeah, I mean, great game, obviously. I feel like if Dave had played it, it'd probably be higher.
I will get to it. It might well be on my list next week. But we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the level design in that game is what makes it so great. There's just so many great kind of different levels. I love the one where you're doing the game show, the cooking game show, because it's just so silly and so out there. But yeah, I mean, that was my first Double Fine game that I'd ever played. And I'm now looking forward to whatever they make next.
They make some crazy fun games.
They're being split into two groups as well, so they're working on two projects at once.
They've expanded quite heavily. I mean, so all of their games are on Game Pass now, right? Like
I believe so.
If you're gonna try the adventure games, play Broken Age, which is the modern one, has Elijah Wood in it.
Oh yeah, I definitely won't be playing the old ones. Christ,
if you're gonna play them,
I'd from their time, I'm sure.
And I still have a really soft spot for for Brutal Legend. Musically, Craig, be your favorite game ever made, but it's whether the gameplay would hold up enough for you to want to play it, because it's weird. It's Double Fine, and obviously Costume Quest is one of my favorite series. So Costume Quest 1 and 2 are fantastic games. Love them. Brilliant.
I guess Psychonauts 1 as well.
Yeah, but there's no achievements. It doesn't have the Steam version. It annoys me. There is a Steam version which is like up-resed. That's not the version that we get. So anyway, Pengy, let's talk about Monster Hunter Rise, which is number 8 with 3 points.
Well, yeah, or joint 9 or whatever you want to.
I've said number 8. You
okay.
have to accept it.
Yeah, beat Psychonauts by Dave's logic. Yeah. Yeah, I played not as much as some people with Monster Hunter Rise, but you all know my Monster Huntering pass. It's normally load it up, play 5 minutes, and that's me done. And where I did play, I think like 35 hours of it, and did the main village quest. I do plan to go back to it soon because you got to be a certain rank for the expansion, and the expansion from the trailers looks really cool. So it is something I'm going to go back for. But it's just it's a technical marvel piece, like how that game looks and runs so well on the Switch, and that is unbelievable. So even from like that standpoint, soundtrack's pretty good. The combat and it's Monster Hunter, but they've improved it from stuff from World, the new wire bugs, how you can zip around and stuff like that. It's just it's just a fun game going around hunting monsters. Not much else really to say about it.
Love. Obviously, I haven't played that, and I was Craig, but Switch games, am I right? So number 7, arguably the best game on this list, and that is Football Manager 2022 from me. My number 3 game of the year.
Only number 3, Dave. What's happened?
The top 2 are really good. Football Manager it's always a tough game to like. One is a tough game to like talk about, because if you don't like football and you don't like the deeper side of it, it's just a database simulator, right? But this year it's just particularly good. They've made quite a lot of additions to like data analysis and just general gameplay, which has made it enjoyable. I played like 30 hours in like a 2-week stint and loved it. And throughout the year it will keep getting played. It is on Game Pass as well, so it's yet another score for Game Pass. I'm specifically talking about the PC version, not the Xbox edition. They are different.
That's what I've played as well. I've played on PC. I've played the Xbox edition on the Xbox edition PC version, because you can play a regular PC version as well if you wanna. Yeah.
I'm playing the regular Steam version. And it's just, again, it's Football Manager. It's my heroine. I take it every year. It was there before the vape, and it'll be there after the vape. So Football Manager number 7. So now we get to a game that you two voted for at number 6 with 3 points, the last of the 3-pointers, and that is The Artful Escape. So Craigo, tell me what the fuck The Artful Escape is.
It is a like psychedelic jazz 2D platformer music game with not a lot of platforming and more music, I would say.
It's quite an easy platformer.
Yeah, and more just mental backgrounds and great music and great guitar riffs.
And great voice acting, like Carl Weathers is like one of the voice actors, for instance.
What more do you need? What more do you need in your life? Again, another game that was like I feel was really underrated. I feel like I think it's like an 80 on OpenCritic, and I feel like it was much better than that.
Yeah, it's much better than that. It's an Annapurna game, so like we joked on last week, I guess, with Fantasy Spreading, and then last year we went Annapurna quite a bit, and there's a game that's in our, was it number 6 we put it? Me and Craig both went for it. It's really great. It's one I bang on. Like, there's better games on my list, but it's the one, like you said, underrated, I bang on about, like people playing and stuff. Like, if you even got an Xbox, it's on xCloud. It's really good. Play it. It's it's a good, it's a very good game.
just holding down. There's a button you hold down to play guitar, Dave, and you basically just hold that button down the entire time. I just listen to the guitar going in the background. Oh, it's great. It's phenomenal. You obviously use some play it with some nice like headphones in or something, so you can really get that music straight into your ears.
Like these wonderful PlayStation headset that I'm wearing.
Yeah, anything like that. Yeah, anything. Yeah.
Love it. So, segue into our number 5 game, which is the only PlayStation exclusive on this list. Which, considering two of us have PS5s, is very telling. But that is Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. And that's obviously Pengy's number 2, I think.
Yes, that is my number 2. Yeah, like you said, it's very telling PlayStation exclusive, mainly because it's been like Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding this year, director's cuts and stuff like that. Which
it's been the year of the roguelite, right, for PlayStation.
Yeah, and obviously Returnal and Deathloop and
yeah,
and sort of thing. So
Not
they've had stuff. No, and like I only had my PS5 for 3 months or something last year, or this. Last year I should say. Ratchet and Clank. You talk about Psychonauts. I did have Psychonauts in like my list of like 10, which obviously I narrowed it down. Like another platformer. The platforming is fantastic. It shows like the power of the PS5 and stuff like that. You know, like with the SSD, the load times and that, the cool stuff, the controllers and how like the triggers work. And then it's just like beautiful. Like the cutscenes you'd think is like possibly from a Pixar movie, and that it's just a fun platformer. I've said it like many times. If you actually played it, Dave, I could, this game would have been higher than where it was. It's just that Game Pass and whatever, sort of thing. That £70 price point is a tough one. But yeah, the game put that aside. The game itself is fantastic. We just take it on the count of the quality of the game, and then can't get much better than that. Yeah, there is one better game in it, so
it's actually 4 better games.
Okay, yeah,
on this list. But Ratchet & Clank's game that interests me and has always interested me is that I've never been able to pull the trigger on it financially, because as much as I love the Ratchet & Clank series, there's always something cheaper. And that's the problem. It's like, I think I saw it for like 45 recently. Obviously, I'm not buying games, so that's the reason why I'm not buying it now. But it's like 45 quid. I could just keep waiting, and there's plenty of other games that are of similar ilk. Like it's like Psychonauts is a similar game, but it's on Game Pass. And it's just, and I'm sure like I will eventually get Ratchet and Clank when it's like 20 quid or it's a PS Plus game.
2025.
Yeah, and more likely it'll be PS Plus game, I think. Like that's probably where or PS Now. Like, that's probably where I'll play it, and I'll be like, this is great. But it's like you said, that £70 is tough, especially in the sort of the modern, Game Pass is just ridiculous. Like everyone else is just throwing games at you, so it's like. But again, from what I've seen, looks like it's a great game. What you said, it's your second favorite game of 2021. So
yeah,
fair play to you. So now we go on to Craig's second favorite game of 2021, and that is Resident Evil 8 Village, or Village with 8 in the middle, however you want to call it. Craig.
Again, Chris has this now because he's got my copy, but maybe when he plays it might have been a little bit higher.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. So
yeah, Resident Evil is like my weird like new favorite like series out of nowhere since that 2 remake. It's what I look forward to pretty much the most now, and this is a very good one. Not quite as good as like maybe the 2 remake or 7, but it's still like very solid. A lot of fun just running through and playing that. And I am. The dog is going crazy. Looking forward to the DLC whenever that eventually gets made. Hence why I've kept hold of it. So I want to go back to that and smash that DLC.
Yeah, so it looks good. It looks like a natural progression from 7. I'm not going to play those unless I fail in my quest to buy games, in which case I won't have a choice. Obviously, its big thing is Lady Dimitrescu, right? That's its big thing this year,
literally.
That boutte. But yeah, Resident Evil Village number 4.
Yeah, I do plan, like, a borrowing craze. I do plan to play it sometime, but I thought I had to start that Shin Megami Tensei 5. I had to start it. And, like I said, just on Xbox, it's just more Halo and Halo multiplayer. We'll get that Chivo.
What about those Chivos?
Yeah.
So, segueing to a game that doesn't have achievements, our number 3, Chris's number 1, Metroid Dread.
Yes.
Interesting
Yes.
choice. Wasn't expecting this to be your number 1, but you will explain all now, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a surprising one, even for me. Like, when they showed it, I was like, oh, this looks good. I like it at E3, but I've never been a huge fan of the Metroid series. Like, I do like Metroidvanias, like Ori and Symphony of the Night and stuff like that. So I was kind of surprised when I did play it, because from what I played from Super Metroid, and I think I played a bit of Metroid Fusion, not keen. So I guess that shows again how good it is that someone that's not been keen on the Metroid games before loves this game so much, and I also think it's because of the you go to like Resident Evil, the horror elements and stuff like that, with the enemies chasing you around, very similar to like a Nemesis or a Tyrant in Resident Evil, and how the music kicks in and stuff like that. All that happens, and the progression. And then it looks great and stuff. I can imagine this on the OLED if you're playing on that, looking fantastic, being that 2D side scrolling thing. Yeah, it's just going back like the cost and that. I know people were like 50 quid for a Metroidvania, but it's worth every penny on that. So if you've got a Switch, this is like up there with like Breath of the Wild or Odyssey or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe of like a must-own Switch game. And I know we've talked about doing like a Switch episode of like top 10. It's one I'm definitely going to be considering putting in like the top 10 Switch games overall.
Fair enough. It's one of those games that I was umming and ahhing about a long time throughout the year, and in the end I decided not to pull the trigger on it just because, like you, I've played a lot of those type of games and they either really stick, like Ori, or I just get bored within a minute, which is all the other Metroid games. So it's like, it looks like the best of them for new players, but yeah, again, it's unfortunately as well. It's the Nintendo tax, so it's not like it's going to get cheap anytime soon.
No, it'll still be 50 quid in 5 years' time.
Or more. That's one or the other.
Or more. Yeah, because I was going to jokingly, Shin Megami Tensei 5, just a regular copy is like 65 quid now, because Nintendo and Atlas couldn't get like a worse partnership of rare, expensive things.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So as we move into our painfully obvious top 2, I think this game was on all the game at number 1 was not on all of our lists. So get ready for that. Okay. I look forward to the slander coming someone's way. But the number 2 game with 7 points was Halo Infinite. I had it at number 2. I don't know where you guys had it. I think Craig had it.
I had it number 4, I feel.
I had it number 5.
At number 5.
Yes.
I mean, that is slander. When you look at how much Chris Bengelli has played that game, how much he loves it.
I haven't even played the story yet, and I've got it at number 2.
He is the Halo stan out of all of us, and he's put it the lowest. That says everything there.
Yeah, because I put Artful Escape, Rise, Ratchet, and Metroid Dread above it.
Right.
So I think it's fair to say that Halo Infinite is absolutely a return to form for Halo, which is good. And I think it's one of the first must-play games on the new Xbox platform. I'm not going to go Series X and S because it really isn't that on Xbox. It is the Xbox platform. I've really enjoyed what I've played of the multiplayer. I've played quite a lot of the multiplayer, and I've played a very small amount of the single player. And for me, that was enough for making number 2. It just feels like Halo. Like Halo 5, I didn't hate. Didn't really feel like Halo. Like Halo Infinite feels like Halo. Gunplay's incredible. Graphics are incredible. The story seems pretty interesting so far. The multiplayer I said is so much fun. So much fun, considering that we've had COD and Battlefield both stumble out the gate. The fact that Halo, even in its beta form, was pretty good. Like, and they've listened to feedback. They're improving it all the time. So, and it's free to play, which is crazy. But yeah, Halo. Craig, tell me about Halo.
Yes, I felt a little bit bad putting number 4, but I just felt like the game's had a bit more like rounded. Maybe kind of enjoyed a little bit more. In fact, I played like a fair bit in multiplayer, but not like Chris Pengelly levels. I haven't, been grinding away anywhere near that much. Like I think I'm like level 13 on the battle pass, put in perspective, compared to 75. But yeah, for me, 4 was kind of where it fell. So I'm shocked. I'm sure I can't. Chris, you need to explain yourself. Go on.
What do I need to explain?
How much you've played this? You've done all the side quests, and it's solo.
Yeah, it's solo. Because personally, I prefer story-driven experiences, and the 4 above are mainly story-driven.
Experiences.
Are more that sort of thing. Like Halo's got fantastic multiplayer game of the year. Of that, if you're going for that. But the campaign, I thought gunplay and that's fantastic. But I thought the story is kind of weak and how it finished as well. Which is going to be open, I think, for DLC. They've mentioned it themselves, 343. But I think the ending wasn't that great on it. But I do think all the story, the gunplay, and that's one of the reasons why I did the side quests. You go into the little base, you do you take on the Banish, you fight them. In that sort of scenario, it fantastic. But if taking on the single player, as the story thing, I thought that was a little bit weak. And then I don't know if it's a bit controversial, but obviously it launched without co-op and out Forge as well, 2 sort of staples of the Halo series, which obviously can be added in, especially now the game's on Game Pass, and that can be continued to be added and patched and updated and whatnot. And same with the multiplayer free-to-play, like I'm doing the challenges. In 2 months' time, there'll be new challenges, and keep it going, and keeps you into the service of Game Pass as well, if they keep adding and improving on the game.
You satisfied with that, Craig?
No.
Well, don't you worry, because there is more slander coming Chris's way. Because our number 1 game,
yes,
our game of the year, 5 from me, 5 from Craig, 0 from Pengy.
That was my number 6. Well, actually, I had
5.
I thought Psychonauts was your number 6.
No, Psychonauts was my number 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So Forza Horizon.
Well, I actually had Forza 5 and Halo Infinite joint 5 and 6. So I couldn't decide which one, and then I made the choice of Halo Infinite when we did the top 5.
Chris Pengelly, everyone. Forza Horizon 5. So, me and Craig have talked at length about our love of the series, and this is just the best one. It's just so good.
Disagree. Forza Horizon 4 is better. That's why I didn't.
I don't think.
That's why That's why I didn't put 5 higher than thing. That's why I didn't, because if you said which one you want to play from scratch, I would go for 4 over 5.
So the base.
What do you think's better about it?
I just prefer it. I don't.
So you don't know then.
I prefer 4.
Because the only difference in the 2 games is that 4 has the annoying seasons thing.
Yeah, which is cool, where it's like snow at one point and not. Another point.
5
just
has that, but you don't have to it's not set to a week.
Yeah,
that's the thing where you can do a race and it's snowing.
I think if you one of the things the community really didn't like about 4 was that week of winter was just awful. Like everyone dreaded that week of winter because it just made the game
more difficult.
Yeah, it made trying to do the actual story stuff a real pain in the ass. I remember I did I think it's one of the the old fashioned story parts of 4 where you get maybe the British Racing Green one. And you got use all the old cars, and you're using these cars from the 1930s in snow, and it was just misery trying to do that. So yeah, I feel like they've done the seasons better in this one because they're there, but they're not as kind of overpowering. You get different one of them has the sandstorm, and one of them has thunder and all that, thunder, lightning, all that. So it's there and it's quite obvious, but it doesn't ruin the gameplay for a whole week.
No. And I think that the biggest improvement for 5 compared to 4 is just how much more streamlined everything is. Getting into your car, getting to the garage, upgrading your car, getting a livery, buying a car, getting to races, doing seasonal events, doing the Forzathon, doing the Eliminator, doing the Super 7. It's all streamlined and it all pushes you towards a progression system, which in 4, because a lot of it was added to 4, which is what I think you might be confusing yourself with, because the 4 base game doesn't have half the content that 4 has. Like a lot of the story stuff, Eliminator, all that stuff
I guess,
is
but
added.
obviously, like you take 4 and 5, like 4, I went back to quite often and stuff like that. 5, I've gone back now and again, but nowhere near as often I would have did it 4. I still like enjoyed it. It's like the middle of my top 10, and I've still got like 20 odd hours out of it, and 600 like games. I'm not saying it's a trash game or everything. It's still a fantastic game, but like 4, I think. I put in my top 25 of like all time, sort of thing. It was like very high on our, best ever list in that. Wasn't it like second or third or something like that?
I think it was again behind a game that me and Craig picked as number 1.
Yeah, I think it was second.
Yeah,
I mean, it's worth saying you played it in
a
really unique way, though, didn't it? With Forza Horizon 5, like you literally didn't do a race, basically.
Well, I've done races.
I mean, you did the campaign. You didn't really do any racing.
Yeah,
let's say.
I mean, again,
which is an odd way of playing a racing game.
So in maybe 6 months, when all the DLC's out and he's gone back to it, it might be higher.
Yeah.
If I know my boy Chris Pengelly in 6 months, when there's a Mega Blocks DLC and then he does all the rest of the races he didn't do and whatever, fine.
I still think I've done like 50 odd races or something for that achievement, so I'm not that far behind getting that Chivo, but
I've done every single race. The only things I haven't done are some of the story ones, and even then I think I did most of them. I just didn't 3-star them.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But for me, it's easily the game of the year for me. Like, it's not even like Halo's there, and I didn't play the single player. It's just because I didn't play anything else that came out this year. But Forza Horizon 5 is probably the closest to a 10 out of 10 game that I played this year. Like, it's not quite perfect. But then I think, what could they have really done better? So maybe it is perfect. Like, honestly, it's the best game I played this year by a country mile. Nothing
for me it was a very clear and obvious one when I was doing my list, and then like 2, 3, 4 I was like could have gone in any order realistically, depending on what day it is, but for me Forza was the obvious one by quite a distance.
That's our game of the year. So well done to Microsoft again, to top 2 when me and Craig are voting on anything. And I think the game of the year overall is Game Pass, because I think most of the list is on Game Pass now or in the future. So yeah, that's the Pod of War game of the year for 2021, Forza Horizon 5. Well done, everyone. So that's that. We've got one more. Well, that's 2021 done. 2021 is gone and dead. Thank fucking Christ. So we're on to 2022, which is a year of new things and excitement. So next week we're going to talk about our backlogs. Craig is probably going to roast at least one of us, if not both, for last year's attempt. Yeah. So yeah.
I feel like I don't want to do any spoilers, but I feel like we need to come up with some sort of punishment if anyone gets a 0 again next year. Let's just say.
I think we're gonna have to do. I think last year was really much a test year for this podcast, right? So let's come up with a plan for next week. I mean, I'm not falling for it this year. I'm not putting a Japanese RPG anywhere near my list. Not one. Not one. Nothing. Every game is going to be 6 or less hours. I'm going to go full Chris. Bird Game Plus is going to be on there. Foxyland 2, you name it. Proper backlog games. But that's next week. Thank you for watching this week's episode. If you like the episode, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Follow us on all the socials. Follow Craig in the streets. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.